Have you been wanting to try neurographic arts, but all of the videos that you watch seem way too difficult and complicated? If so, then you're in the right place. Today, I'm going to break things down in really easy, simple to follow steps. We're not going to be talking about all those algorithms and all the rules, just the process of making this style art. If we haven't met yet, I'm Rashonda, and I'm the creator of this YouTube channel, as well as the artbyro.com website. And I like to help beginner artists just get through that resistance, have fun, and find some motivation to get started on creating some art today. So let's head on over to the art studio and let's get started. The first step in creating your neurographic art is to draw your neurographic lines or your neural lines. And I'm using an Ohuhu fine line drawing pen. And you can do whatever size lines you want. For as far as the thickness of your pen, you can do like a big Sharpie if you want to do it that way. You can do smaller lines. It's completely up to you. This is a very intuitive way of drawing, which just means that every time you do it, it's going to be a little bit different, and you're going to let it just flow the way it feels like it wants to flow. You're not trying to force anything. You're not making decisions. You're just drawing some lines. And you can do as many or as few that you want to do. They can go wherever they want to go. There's really no right or wrong way. And I do want to mention that I am not an official neurographic instructor. There's those people out there that are much more informed about this way of drawing than I am. But I'm showing you just from the perspective of creating some artwork. Now, when you get into the actual, I don't know what you would want to call it, like the more technical way of drawing neurographic art, there's algorithms and rules and all sorts of things, and I am not qualified to teach that, and I'm not going to try to teach it that way. I'm simply showing you the way of, you think the artwork looks interesting and you want to try doing it, these are the steps. If you want to get into the more technical aspects of it, there's a lot of videos out there. Now, when you're doing actual neurographic art, I believe you are not supposed to turn your paper. I think it also, maybe it depends on what you're doing. I've watched several videos, and there's a lot of rules. It's very confusing. Sometimes you can do it one way, sometimes you can't. I've seen videos where they say you are not supposed to turn your paper at all. You're supposed to keep it the same direction every time. And I've watched those same people say that, no, you can turn your paper. So it just depends on what you're doing, and I'm not trying to get into all of that here. So if you're wanting that more technical, official type neurographic lessons, like I said, plenty of channels out there. This is just for fun. I'm a hobby artist. I just do these things for fun. It's relaxing, it's enjoyable. So just sharing what I've learned and experienced with others. So that's it for the first step, which is just drawing your lines. And normally in the past, I've done it with a lot fewer lines. And today I wanted to try it with more lines and see what it looked like. So that's what I came up with. Everybody's going to look different, and it's going to look different every time that you do it. So now the next step is to start rounding off your edges. And I'm going to use the same fine lining pen that I used to make my lines. And what we're going to do is just round off these corners because you don't want sharp edges. This is the calming part of it. It's very therapeutic and meditative. It can also feel a little bit tedious if you're trying to do something that that maybe you don't think should take this long to do. This is not a quick type of drawing to do. It's definitely not something you want to do if you only have a few minutes and you want to finish something. Now you can work on it over time. It's not something that you have to finish all in one sitting. But one of the main characteristics is that you don't have any sharp edges. So what you want to do is wherever these lines intersect, just create a curve on all those points, which is also going to require you to sort of thicken up those lines a little bit. So keep that in mind when you're deciding how big of a pen you or a marker or whatever you're using to make your lines. They are going to thicken up a little bit as you do them. So this section right here, that's done. Those all four are rounded out. So we're just going to keep doing that. And you can work however you want to work. You can do all one section like this all at once, or you can jump around. So we're just going to keep rounding all these off. Now I will say that if you're doing this as like a form of therapy or just to unwind, relax, you probably do want to do a lot of it in one session and not break it up over like little 5-10 minute sections, or you're not going to get that where you're kind of getting into that flow state. So we're just going to round these off, and where it's not a complete pointed area, just thicken that line up a little bit and curve it around as you're going. And these parts that you fill in, they can be big, they can be small. Like I could take this and bring it down even more and make this black area a little bit bigger. Just go with whatever your instincts are. Whatever feels right. Now, even though this way we're not following one of those algorithms and there's specific processes, there's different processes for what you're trying to accomplish in your life. We're not doing that in the way I'm teaching it. We're just creating just a fun, interesting design. And we're doing something that is calming and relaxing and low pressure. But you don't want to think about it too much. You still want to let it be very intuitive. Just go with whatever feels right. Don't try to think too hard. Don't try to create some major work of art. Just have fun with it. You really shouldn't need to make any decisions. Just follow the process, follow the steps, make your lines, round them out. And if you decide you want to add more shapes in here, you can. You can decide you want to put a circle in here. You can do triangles. And I'm pretty sure the individual shapes mean something specific. I'm not sure exactly what. I believe that a circle represents something specific, or you use circles in a certain way, but we're not worrying about that right now. Like I said, if that's something that interests you, you can look up different videos that get into that whole process of manifesting different things into your life. And it is very interesting. And there's a lot of really good videos out there that teach all of that. But I know from the people that I've talked to, there's also a lot of people who find that all very confusing and they don't want to get into all that. So that's who I'm making this video for, just for anyone who wants to start getting into it a little bit, but you don't want to go full in to the level that gets super technical. So I'm going to go ahead and stop talking. I'm sure you're tired of hearing me talking by now. And I'm going to go ahead and work on this. So I do want to point out that in these sections, like this area here, I could round this off and leave it like that, or fill it in. I like a lot of black in my drawings. So these small areas, like I might leave that white, or I might decide to fill it in. I don't like those small areas like that. And again, no right or wrong. Just go with whatever your instinct tells you. Don't try to picture what it's going to look like you might normally do with your drawings. And what I mean is, if you're doing just a regular drawing or a painting or whatever your interests are, you kind of try to create a vision in your mind of what it would look like. What would that look like if I left it white? What would it look like if I filled it in black? Don't try to envision what it's going to look like. Just make a decision, go with it. What does your gut tell you to do? You're very much making your decisions just from your gut. My gut told me to fill that one in. My gut tells me to leave that as it is. And later, I might change my mind when I get further along, and I might decide to fill it in, and I can go ahead and fill it in. So you might want to jump around a little bit and work on whatever areas are calling to you. If something speaks to you, then go jump down and work on that. You might want to work on the edges. You might have an area that maybe is feeling a little stressful to you. Maybe these bigger areas you're not liking. If an area makes you feel tense, I would skip that for now and jump to a different area. So I'm going to go ahead and do this in a time lapse. I might do some of it off camera as well, and I'll be back when I have this part of it done. Okay, so this is what I have for my line drawing part of it. I did all my rounding off all of my edges, and then I also added in some little just thin lines going through, kind of shadowing some of these other lines. It was something I wanted to try. I've seen that in other people's neurographic drawings, and I like how it looks, so I always like to try something different when I'm doing my drawings. So for this one, I went ahead and did that and tried it out. Now, I did not round off anything in those because I felt like if I did, it was going to fill it in too much and they were going to end up being a lot thicker lines, and I wanted to keep them really thin. So now the next thing I want to do is I'm going to add some color. So these are the colors that I have picked out, and they are from the Ohuhu Honolulu Bee 48 pack. If you're looking for some nice markers at a great price, I would highly recommend these. The 48 count set is very reasonably priced, and these are some really nice markers. I'm really loving them lately. But these are the colors. So this one is the YR07, and then the R28, the B08, and the Y18. And these are the sets of colors, the set of colors that I'm going to be using for my drawing. So what I want to do, what I'm thinking, I have my colors picked out, and I could add to it. You could do more colors. I'm just going to do these 4 and just see what it looks like. And one of the rules, the official rules for neurographics, is that you're not supposed to isolate one area with color. So like say I did this with the purple, I would need to do purple somewhere adjacent to it. Now, like I mentioned earlier, this is not an official neurographic training. This is just showing you a neurographic style of artwork. So feel free to do your colors however you want. Now you can blend the colors or not blend them. So what I'm thinking is over here, this shape pops out to me. And I could go here with it. I could go out further with it. But my brain is picking up on this shape over here. So I think I want to make this all. I'm thinking what I might do is blend it between the purple and the blue and see what that looks like. I've not done this before with markers, so I'm not entirely sure how this is going to look. Again, just trying to do something different because that's how I'm going to grow, is by trying new things, getting out of my comfort zone. My original neurographic drawing that I did a long time ago, when I had very first heard about it and wanted to try it, I did that with markers, but I just filled them in kind of random colors. I really didn't know much about neurographics. It was back when it was really hard to find any tutorials or anything on it, and the majority of them were in, I believe, Russian. So it was hard to learn. It wasn't as popular as what it is now. It seems like it's more popular, it's more advertised, or I don't know what you would want to say. It's out there more. So I'm just looking at this area, this shape that I want to call out and make it look like it's all together. And like I said, you can do that with your colors or not do that. It's whatever, keep it intuitive. It's whatever you feel in your gut that you want to do with it. And I'm really not worrying too much about how streaky my markers are going to be. I'm not going to stress out about that too much, because that, again, is going to make it not relaxing and enjoyable, and we want this to be as stress-free as possible. So what I'm going to do is just come in from this other direction. And I don't think I mentioned, I'm doing this on cardstock. So I just took a sheet of cardstock and cut it in half, because this can be a very lengthy process, especially on a bigger page. And I did not want this to take forever. So I just cut it in half. And you can play around with different sizes. I've done them on artist trading cards before, and that works out okay. I might do a series on artist trading cards to kind of go along with this. I am enjoying it, and I have some ideas for some different things I might want to try on the next one. So I'm thinking maybe do a little series of these, maybe do some on artist trading cards and see how that goes. Now again, I'm not going to worry too much about how the markers themselves look. If they don't blend perfectly, I'm okay with that. So what I'm going to do is just keep working on this in the same style, the same manner that I'm doing this with my other colors. I'm going to look for areas that call out to me and just pick the colors. I might do some blends like this again. I might not. It's really just whatever I'm feeling. And I am going to stick with that rule of not having an isolated color, because I do think it looks better. I like how it looks. I don't care for my original one where I did like each section was a different color. And I didn't really put colors next to each other. And I like how this looks a lot better than that. So for the rest of it, I might look for some other areas that stand out. So maybe what I might do is the areas that my brain is putting together and picking up. So like this shape right here stands out to me. I have this little bit of a circle that I put there. I might do these with the purple and the blue, and then maybe do the rest of it with the other two colors. We'll see how that looks. But I'm going to go ahead and keep working on this. I will do a little bit of a time lapse, and then I will probably finish it up off camera so this video doesn't get too long. And then I will be back with you when I have this all finished. is my finished neurographic drawing. And what I like to do when I'm done is I like to just reflect on it for a little bit. Nothing too critical, just what did I learn from it? Because for me, the most important thing is relaxing, enjoying the process, and I do want to feel like I'm growing and I'm expanding in my skills and how I think about things, like my creativity. So I like to reflect a little bit. Overall, I love it. I love the colors. I think they go good together. I like how I broke them up. I don't love the blue and the purple together. They don't blend very smooth, but I tried to kind of do the same sort of look so it's uniform, and it doesn't really bother me. I think it actually looks kind of cool, but I feel like I would have wanted to maybe picked out a couple better colors. These two colors blended in very nicely. It's not real noticeable. Other than that, I don't know that I necessarily got a big takeaway from it. I did find that doing the lines and doing the rounding felt very calming and relaxing, but when I got to the color, I found that it was stressing me out a little bit. I was trying to think too much about how I wanted to do the colors. And that's not the point of this type of art. That should be very relaxing and very intuitive. And once I got to the colors, I did not let that be as intuitive. So a couple takeaways for myself when I did this. I really did enjoy it. I'm definitely going to do more. I think I may do a series on artist trading cards and see what it's like doing them at a smaller scale, see how that feels. Yeah, other than that, I don't know that I have too much more to share about this. If you tried this out or if you've done similar works, especially if you're newer to this and you're just trying to explore this style of art, I would love to hear about your experience in the comments. And I will share my challenge with you if I decide to do that and record it. I probably will. I think it's useful. If it helps one person, then I'm good with that. That's my goal. I just want to help people feel like it's okay. Excuse me. I want everybody to feel like it's okay to try some new things and not be afraid to have some failures or to have things not turn out perfect. And I'm going to leave that right here, and I will see you in the next video. Happy creating! That's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it, and hopefully you feel inspired to create some of your own artwork. If you did enjoy it, I'd appreciate it if you could hit that like button, and you can also subscribe if you want to get notified of future videos. But before you leave, check out that description box. There's a freebie in there for you, as well as some additional information that you might find helpful. And I will see you next time. Bye!